All right, we are live. Greetings, fellow traders. Let me get this tweeted out so everybody can join in here. 1 second. Do. All right, we are live. Awesome. Good. All right, well, I hope everybody had a great trading day today. And it's Thursday, and so today we're wrapping up our conversation on the day trading process, the process of day trading, the things that we consider and need to keep in mind when we're day trading. So today we're going to talk about the very important topic of earnings. So before we get started here today, everything we're going to talk about is for educational purposes only and not investment advice. So please take a moment to review this disclaimer. Awesome. All right, so we're going to take a look and see where we're at the market. And then we're going to take a look at futures. And then we're going to go over the topic, and then we'll take a look at questions and chart requests. So let's get started here and see where we're at in the market. So here's the SPX monthly chart. So back to green, up 33 points today. So, about a little bit less than a week left. We've got 1, 2, 3 trading days left in the month. So let's see how they end up finishing this month. Here's the weekly chart. We got 1 day left. We got tomorrow left in the week. We are still holding the 30 weekly moving average, so that's a good thing. Inside week so far, so spinning top so far, a bit of a harami right now. So let's see where they end up finishing this tomorrow. Should be an interesting Friday. It's been an interesting week so far, and today was definitely an interesting day, and it's been an interesting week. So let's take a look at the daily chart. Whoa, let's zoom out a little bit here and just kind of look at this. Wow, what a mess! Corona crash, and then the V recovery. And so here we are. We're in the trend box, right? Which means we've broken down out of the trend line, right? We've formed a low out of the trend line. And that's formed a key level for us, right? Which pretty much is corresponding with the 50-day moving average, simple moving average, right? And today, we pushed down a little bit and bounced off the 200-day today. So it was looking pretty rough yesterday off of the prior shooting star. Keep in mind, we're still in the, the ominous island top reversal area here. So we haven't quite filled that gap yet. So this is still in play. And in fact, the island top of the Corona crash is still in play. So 2 island tops we're dealing with right here, and so let's see how we continue to handle this. But a nice reclaim of a lot of the range of yesterday's candle. We were expecting a choppy day today, and that's what we got. Because it was a pretty rough day yesterday. It was a lot of volume to the downside, and we talked about this last night that we were expecting to get that chop, right? So and we did today, but then they stepped it up again and broke it out. So let's say the price action here intraday. This is the stuff that we look at here. So it's pretty interesting. So, one of the big concerns that we had yesterday was like, okay, what's going to happen if we start to flush below these lows, right? So that was one of the big concerns. So we started to get some momentum to the downside this morning. We gapped down a little bit. We had job numbers that came out today. Gapped down, a little bit on those job numbers. So a little bit of kind of a rough morning right going today. So maybe, we were going to get some fall through the downside. So this is where we took a little bit of a short here off of this candle to try to push, see if we get some more downside momentum. Caught a nice move in that, and then they just bought the dip off of it here once we got back into yesterday's range. So we got a nice momentum move up there, so that kind of set the tone for the rest of the day. They chopped it, right? And then they popped it, right? So the bigger the chop, the bigger the pop, we like to say. And sometimes the bigger the chop, the bigger the drop. Right, so especially in a volatile market, right? So we had a nice triangle here and then a good breakout here at the end of the day. So it made it pretty sensible, right? So we had a nice short at the open and a nice long at the close, and and some fun, some chop in between, right? So it was pretty interesting day there with the SPX. These are the levels that we provide to our members before each market open, and you can see how those played out right here. Obviously, the 15 orb forms itself off of the initial 15 minutes. Actually, let's get the sorry, I thought I had those pulled up correctly there. Okay, so these are the levels. So obviously here's the prior day's low. We came into that range, right? We got yesterday's high. We're testing this one, that monthly level that we talked about yesterday. That was tested several times today, and once we broke through that with some volume, right, we got to the next level up, and then they pushed it, try to be pretty strong there out of a bull flag at the end of the day. So pretty nice stuff there. So good. So let's take a look at the futures and see how they're looking this evening. And what we have in store for tomorrow. So pretty interesting stuff here, right? So so it was pretty cool, right? So the futures are fun, right? This is what we use to really track the market. We get into it because there's so much data that we can use with it. And we hit a couple key levels today, but it was just in the same chop zone as yesterday, right? This zone right here, we had a couple great breakdown areas right here once we tagged a signal zone here. Right, we had another short opportunity here when we tagged the signal zone. Another one here in the early hours or in the late hours of the night. Then they really pushed it down to 3,005 and bounced it. Right, so we had a couple levels right here that were interesting. Right, we had a trend line here, kind of geometric line here that looked like it was going to break down here, but it still held the 15 orb high. And one of the cool things is we had the first big pop of the day, right? The 61.8 retrace formed as a bounce twice in that level. Okay, and then we got that second bounce off of it. If you do a Fibonacci in this one, that was a 618 bounce here, as well as a 382 in the first one. So you had a nice cluster zone here, a Fibonacci cluster zone, which also corresponded with one of our zone levels. And then what a great bounce we got off of that right there for a nice move up here into the end of the day. So some really cool stuff there in the futures. And so now we are really in between ranges right now. So it's a choppy night so far. We're only up 25 cents right now. So let's see what they have in store for tonight, right? We could put a really tight triangle on this right now just to see what we're up to, right? And then we can put a couple geometric lines right here just to see how that holds. And of course, this double top so far right at 30.80. We'll see if they can take it out of that as well. So it's a pretty crazy range right here, a couple geometric levels, so we'll see where they take that into tomorrow. So it should be interesting. All right, so good stuff. So that's the futures. That's where we're at. And now let's talk about the topics. So today we're going to talk about day trading process, and we're going to be talking about earnings. So what about earnings? What do we want to know? So we've been talking about a lot of stuff this week, right? We talk about pre-market process, the things that we like to do, the things I like to do pre-market, the things like we like to do after hours to prep. We talked about swing, what we like to do for swings, right? We talked about key time frames during the day. And so now this is one other thing is to prep for is earnings, right? So right now, most of the earnings season is over. There's a few, earnings here and there, but it's a really important tool to know when these earnings are coming. I mean, that is the first thing, is to know when earnings are coming, right? So, if we just look at, something like, let's go to Roku, because it does give some interesting earnings sometimes. So let's go to the daily chart. So it's very important to know, when earnings are coming up. So if you're because there's a couple cool tactics, right, that are used, right? So one of the things we look for is earnings runs, right? So when we're preparing, when earnings are coming up, we're looking for bullish activity before earnings, so we can look to get a potential swing trade in there. And to get an earnings run, because a lot of times stocks like to kind of push themselves up before earnings. Not all the time, but sometimes. And so it's something that we like to consider. So if we can get a bullish setup, right, like here on Roku, right, kind of breaking out of these range right here, pause day, and then a nice move up before earnings, you can get a nice move, because what happens before earnings? The implied volatility increases, right, which makes options premiums go up. So if you can get a good price before the earnings season, you can really capitalize on those earnings. So you also have to know when those earnings are, so you don't get caught in earnings, because what do earnings do? It's a binary event, right? It is a binary event. The only time I will swing through earnings is if I have freebie runners on a swing trade, right? So that means, right, I have enough profit on on the initial move. Let's say I have 10 contracts, right? I have enough profit on the majority of those contracts where I can sell those out for profit before earnings, and the remainder of the options that I own going into earnings are completely paid for with profit and profit left over, because you don't want to lose money on the remainder, right? On the runners, on the remainder of the contracts. So that's the idea right there, because anything can happen. You can see right here, even even Roku, right? They had, I think, even better than expected earnings, right? So you got to move up, right? And you got to move up. And anything can happen. They have good earnings, so they gap down, right? Whatever the case is, right? So we've seen it before. They have great earnings and great revenue, and they gap down. We've seen bad earnings and bad revenue, and they gap up. I mean, so take for instance like Nike, right? Going into earnings here, like so, well they're down here too, but it looks like they could have rallied. But that is a potential, that they rally up into tomorrow, right? So it looks like they're down right now, but they're not down that bad. And so we'll see where they end up in the morning. It's a binary event, so you always have to be careful going into those, going into earnings. Okay, so we do not like to swing to earnings. It is a binary event, which means it's a gamble, right? Unless you have freebie runners from a swing trade that's working. That's the only opportunity that we do it. So that's what I do. We need to know when it's coming, right? Especially if we're in a position. We need to know if it makes sense to hold through earnings, if we have enough profit on some freebie runners to get through it. And the other thing we want to do is know the strategies for earnings. And so it makes for a lot of fun, right? So as long as you're not gambling into it, it makes for a lot of fun the next day and even the next couple days, right? How it could set up after that. So, one of the big things that we look for is, we look at our 15 orbs. Those are very, very good lines in the sands. We also, a really important thing that we look for is the gap and go, right? So the gap and go is where you get over a key level, right, on earnings. So you gap above a key level and you go, right? It's just a good push above those. So I think an example of that probably is Shop. right? You get a nice push to the upside here after earnings, right? And then you push over, into all-time highs, and then you just get a nice move up over those key levels, right? And so you look for tactics and strategies on that one. So you can get that. You use your 15 orb level, you use your pre-market levels. We've done a whole series on those, and it's very, very helpful stuff. So that's what we like to look for after earnings. It's a very, very important tool to keep in the tool belt. And when earnings season comes around, right, those are the things that we look for. We look for potential earnings runs so we can capitalize on the premium increase. We don't want to hold through earnings unless we have freebie runners, because what happens also after earnings, if you get stuck and you get chopped around like Nvidia, which it does it a lot. Not all the time, but it does a lot, right? So with Nvidia earnings, look what happened. We didn't really do much, did we? We just kind of chopped around. So you end up losing a lot of premium because of the vol crush after earnings. So you got to be careful with that too, right? And then after earnings, we look for strategies, tactics, and strategies to trade after earnings, especially if there's something interesting going on, like a big gap up and a potential reversal, and with also the potential of a gap and go. Roku is also famous for gapping up after earnings and reversing, right? So we saw that here this day. So everything's good. They had great earnings, awesome earnings, gapped up, everything looks good. Did it gap over to key levels? Got through these. Did it get through this level? No. Did it reverse? Yeah, it reversed hard. So we got to look for strategies also for reversals, and we also use our pre-market levels for those. So good stuff. Great tool for the tool belt, and I think that covers a lot of the great parts of the process, in general this week for day trading. And hopefully you guys found that helpful. And at this point, if anybody has any questions or chart requests, please feel free to plug those in the chat window, and we'll get through as many as we can and try to wrap up as early as possible so we can all get a good night's sleep and have another awesome trading day tomorrow. So good stuff. So Richard sending a few in by email, or by Twitter. So let's take a look at a couple of those. So MU. So MU is still tight in here, right? It's still contained within this triangle range now. I like how it bounced off the 50-day moving average. I like how it closed back over the 200. Guess what? It's got earnings coming up. So one of the things we have to consider next week is we've got MU earnings coming up. So we don't want to swing through that. We're not seeing an earnings run going on. We do have a nice hammer right here, but we got to be really, really careful, right? We got to look at the other semiconductors. And the other thing we want to consider too is MU's earnings and how it's going to affect stocks like AMD, Nvidia, stuff like that. So let's see how it holds. We're tight in here in this triangle range right now. Let's see what kind of earnings we have coming into next week. Oracle. All right, so Oracle, yeah, this normally, this is always an interesting one here too. So this had earnings as well, right? Actually, had a push down and then a reversal on it. So this one's kind of chopping around too. At this point here, it's really just got to get over 56 and try to claim above that with a good candle and some good volume. And Twitter, let's take a look. Twitter. So Twitter looking okay right here. Pulled down a little bit, bounced off of the 50-day moving average. Still rising 50-day moving average. This is a key area for it to hold. It's got to hold here. Otherwise, a breakdown below these lows, we might see a potential tag of the cloud down here. So, and I think there might be a little bit of an open gap right here. I can't really quite see it on this one, but something to keep an eye on here on Twitter. So good stuff. Let's see if that 50-day moving average holds. When volatility is high, I don't like using moving averages as support zones. Good stuff. Thanks so much, Richard. Appreciate it. Mike, what's going on? Thanks for tuning in. Yeah, let's take a look at Apple. Apples and bananas. So let's take a look here. So Apple, yeah, did pretty good today, right? So had a rough upper shadow the other day. Nice follow through yesterday to fill the gap. Today, a little bit of a scary move down like the rest of the market. Then it pulled back in the range and had actually a pretty strong day today. Held the ADMA like a champ, right? So it's over the 8, is over the 21, is over the 50, is over the 200, and they're all rising. I mean, this thing is just super bullish, right? It gave a little bit of a pop here. I have a triangle this morning for a 15 orb attempt right here, and then it finally gave a nice breakout here through these geometric lines today. Nice inside 15, and then a push up at the end of the day. And it's up a little bit here after hours, too. A lot of call activity, too, at the end of the day as well. Bullish. Netflix, let's take a look. Up 8 points today. Not an easy trade today. This is inside day today. This thing basically did a real, kind of quick reversal on this one, unless you were watching it, right? Gave a nice reversal hammer right here, but on low volume, and then some more volume started to come in right here, and then it finally broke out of the 15 orb high. So it was tough to tactically find an entry unless you just really, really believe that the reversal is going to be a big one. And then after that, it did chop a lot for the rest of the day. So tricky one with a pretty high premium on it. But it did push up at the end of the day like everything else. So Netflix, let's see, inside day. Let's see if it breaks over those highs and gives us some Friday fun. Nicola, let's take a look here. So Nicola, inside day today, kind of closing down in the lower end of the prior candles low. So this breakout candle, right, we don't like to get in on just the breakout candle. We want to look for confirmation, right? Or we want to look for to see if a pullback makes sense. So let's see if a pullback ultimately is going to make sense on Nikola. Really, the kind of the key line of the sand is the center of that triangle right there. So let's see how that holds coming in the next couple days. So good stuff. Yeah, my pleasure. Thanks, Mike. Thanks for tuning in. Okay, Shirley sent in a few via email. DLTR, Dollar Tree. So nice breakout candle today. I like how it got over the 200-day moving average. I like the increased volume. It is not really a trend line right here, but it's holding this geometric line here over the 200-day moving average. So let's see if we get some more movement to the upside. Coop looks good, right? A lot of strength in the software sector today. This one, CLDR, and a lot of these type of software names had some good strength today. Fresh highs on this one, good volume, bullish, still proven otherwise. I'm liking it. Morgan Stanley. So the banks guys led the way today, right? So they helped pull the market up, right? So that was one of the factors that kind of kept us out of short. We did a quick short at the open today, but kind of kept us out of more downside sentiment from yesterday. Because the financials were strong. If the financials are strong, it is really hard for the market to go down. So Morgan Stanley being in that sector a little bit there had a nice breakout right here. A kind of good move out of this little kind of geometric area right here. So let's see if we get some follow through to the upside. Definitely some strength in these. They had I think like a stress test issue or something like that with a lot of these different banks, but they rallied right off of it after hours and getting some follow through to the upside. It's a little bit of a scary move after hours on the banks. I was like, that was a bull trap if anything. So, but we still like to wait for confirmation on that one. So see if we can get a nice push on those tomorrow. Okay. Piton finally closed high without an upper shadow on this one. So now at this point, let's see how high this thing can go. So if anything, if we do we could do like a little bit of a harmonic on this one right here. So we're getting pretty close to the 2.618 off of this pullback right here. So if we get up there, that's about 59, 50-ish. Otherwise, 66 is your next potential level. So what am I looking at right here? So let's get a couple trend lines on. Let's get a couple lines on here. So we get this, right? So you got somewhere around this area. This thing's eventually going to find a little bit of top. So right now we've got we're basically looking at the 3.618 is a possibility there for a crab pattern on this recent move up on Peloton. But it finally didn't close with an upper shadow today, which is pretty impressive. And then ETFC. E-Trade. So yep, there's another broker financial type candles type company right there. Good move, good volume, just kind of still kind of average-ish volume though overall, but it is kind of hanging in there and kind of working its way up this channel right here. So let's see how it goes on that one. Great stuff, Shirley. I really appreciate it. ZEK, what's going on? Good to see you. NEM, let's take a look. Up 18 cents today, so looking okay here. So staying green and holding on to those moving averages right there. So kind of in the cloud right there, so see if it can continue to work its way up. I definitely like the green on it. That's always a good thing. OSTK. Good day yesterday, right? We had the hot dog pattern off an inside day. It did take it up a little bit today. Started to get strong, then kind of came back in the range. So watch that. It might want to come back down and test the low end of that candle. Boeing. Again, started. This one looked like it was going to get really rough today. Had a rough day yesterday, right? Increased volume, red candle below the 21 EMA. Gap down today, but we didn't get a gap and no go. We actually got a nice reversal on it today. So this was a strong reversal at the open today. A nasty pullback. In fact, that pullback, I think it was like a 0.86, right? Really, really close to a point. Between a 786 and an 886. So really, really close to that. So really nasty pullback, and then they bounced it off of that one. So it's pretty cool stuff there on that. Otherwise, it's it's kind of slowly sliding down the cloud. And then CLDR. CLDR, lots of call activity on this one today, and ended up closing on its highs. Was not easy, just like Boeing. Was not easy. Actually, it was. I was thinking of it different. Wow, yeah. So a couple these pullbacks seemed a little bit more nasty intraday, but wow, it just pulled back right here. Just what we like to see on a strong stock. Nice pullback, low volume pullbacks to the 80 EMA, 15 orb high. Nice move. This is, I think, was like probably the most challenging part right here. Just that slop right there. Back to the 80 EMA. It's like, goodness gracious, was this thing ever move up? And then it finally did, and then kind of sideways and a little sideways action right there to the upside. But strong candle today. It's looking like it's trying to get there. So that's good. I like how it closed over this pivot level right here. So good stuff. Thanks, EK. Ankit, what's going on? Good evening. I hope you're doing well. Yeah, let's take a look at VRM. Vroom, 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 vroom. So we recently profiled this one on our IPO series, and just a great breakout candle here, guys. So really, really love it. I love the pullback right here. I love how it held its ADMA. I love how it held the 21, and then really just kind of launched off of that right now. So it's let's see how well it can do to get up to that 59 level. It held pretty good in its ranges right here. Thought it might come back and test that 15 RBI, but really just came down and just launched today on that one. So good job on Vroom today. Facebook's getting a little bit scary. It didn't have as much of a rally as everything else. As an inside day at the low end of yesterday's nasty candle. So just watch. If this thing does end up breaking down below these lows, we may see it test the 21-day moving average and might even try a little bit lower. So just be a little careful with Facebook going into tomorrow. Boeing, we just looked at, just kind of sliding down the cloud right there. So let's see how that holds a breakdown below this candle right here. It could start to be really interesting. That's 166. So see how that holds on Boeing. Roku, okay today, up 25 cents. It's kind of a nasty choppy day, inside day today. Ended up still closing over the 200-day moving average and above the cloud. So let's see if that holds as potential support, maybe a higher high, higher low, and then makes another move off of that one. CNQ, Canadian Natural, right, still in here. Still really tight within that triangle range right there. Tried to break down a little bit and kind of came back inside. So really, really choppy on that one. Change Healthcare, inside day, up a few cents today. So again, let's see how it holds here. Otherwise, it might be forming, kind of like a bearish type flag or starting a new channel. So we'll see how that goes going into tomorrow. And then Trip. This is like exactly like yesterday. Hold on, let's see. So Trip. Sorry, so the P carries over. I'm like, Yeah, so Trip, nasty pullback yesterday, but it is holding on to the cloud right here. The real key level, see if it breaks down below that 17. So good stuff. Thanks, Ankit. Michael, what's going on? Thanks for tuning in. Gregory, good evening. Good to see you. Thanks for making it. Kim, what's happening? I hope you had a great day, too. Let's take a look at FTCH. Farfetch Limited. Wow. It's almost far-fetched to think that this thing was going to break out over these levels right here. Nice gap and go today. It really pushed it over that 17 level really well today with some great volume on this one. Do they have any real news on this thing today? Digital perform gross merchandise value, EBITDA loss to improve. So they put out some good, good numbers and all that stuff. So nice push on that one. Great breakout of these candles right here. Let's see if I can get some follow through. Otherwise, we'll see how it defends those levels and if it, we can catch a pullback on it or something like that. That could be pretty good. Schrodinger, again, also kind of a recent IPO too. Nice breakout of this GL line and get some great follow through to the upside. Crazy candles, but super duper strong, just flexing its muscles up there. LVGO, this one's been a strong one too recently, but pulled back the last couple days, holding on to the ADMA. So let's see if that can continue to hold. And then AVLR. Okay, yeah, great candle on that one today. I mean, just super duper strong. This was your breakout candle right here, nice pause day, and then you got the follow through to the upside on that. Fantastic find on that one. Good stuff. Brian, what's going on? Hope you're doing well. Let's take a look at Zumba. Look at that. Continuing to just grind its way up to all-time highs. I mean, this one, I think it's already past, where this kind of, this crab pattern area right here to look for it's already past the 3.618. I mean, who knows at this point? I mean, it's, Zoom, just continue to work its way up. So, just bullish, still proving otherwise. Let's wait to see if it can break down out of a trend line on that one. But still strong. Still one to look at intraday for pops. Especially with the any increased corona fear. It's just been a great stay-at-home one. And they finally got back to me on converting some videos. So it took over a month. So pretty interesting stuff. So they're working on converting that. Maybe I'll get those converted tomorrow. So good stuff there. Let's take a look. So we've got Northrop Grumman. Yep. So a little bit tricky areas right here. You got a little hammer that held off of... this is a tough one. Really, just kind of crazy area in space right here. Good volume on the reclaim. So, if it does continue to work itself up, you might get a Morningstar reversal on this one tomorrow. Not really a big candle that I'd like for Morningstar, but it could try to get into that gap. That's a tough one to trade. But good stuff. Thanks, Brian. Thanks for tuning in. X-Country Kev, what's going on? Chewy! Buddy's favorite. Down 30 cents today, but he's saying, hey, that's a double inside day. Let's look for a move and break out of those candles right there. So let's see how that goes. All right, and see if we can get out of that, see if we can get a strong candle out of that bull flag. DKNG. This thing. Okay. Big breakout candle here. Right, today was kind of the line in the sand if the bulls really want to step up and start to push this thing, right? Because if anything, anybody who was long off of this big candle here probably had to stop somewhere around here, even like 10 or 20 cents below or something like that, right? So my guess is it took out as many of those stops as it could, right? And it's trying to rally and get itself back up here. So let's see if DKNG can finally start to work its way back up again. Otherwise, just you know, is done. you know, we'll see. We'll see. A tail fail to the downside could start to see a move, and test like this 32 level and a couple of these levels down below. So hopefully they try to rally it off of that. Although I suppose we could see some chop, but thing's still pretty hot right now, so it's definitely has a lot of attention. So good. Penn Gaming too. Big breakout candle on the Kramer pump, and then of course they dumped it after that. So let's see how it holds this 21-day moving average. See if they're going to move off of that too going into next week. MRVL. Okay, yeah, so this is definitely one to keep an eye on too, see how it reacts to the MU earnings. And again, a lower shot here off the 21-day moving average, so let's see how that holds off of that one. It didn't get too much of a bounce off of it, so just be careful, take a little care on that one. And then ZS, the Z-scaler inside day so far, so let's see if we can break above those highs and give another push to the upside. Again, this one's been really, really strong recently, so let's see if we get some more buyers in it. Good stuff, Jay Miles, what's going on? Good to see you. Hope you're doing well and had a great day today. Let's take a look at Apple. So Apple super duper strong at the end of the day today. So, and it ended up holding its 80 MA. I love how, this is about as pristine of a clean move as you could get right there. This the way this looks, it just looks like it easily, they got a price target raised to 400. It just looks like it just continued to climb its way up there. But anyway, 80 over the 21, over the 50, over the 200, all rising over the moving average, and a green hammer today off of those two. So it's pretty interesting stuff on that one. So let's keep an eye on that one, see how it goes. Microsoft, Mr. Softy. Let's take a look. So again, same thing. A lot of these mega caps too got nice bounces today off of their ADMA. So let's see if that gets more follow through on that one. And we got Sono. So Sono got a good Citron report on it the other day, but it's having trouble getting over all these upper shadows right here. That's a little bit sketchy. So just be careful with those on Sono. And Spotify. This thing is a monster. This thing is just a monster. We talked about this one, not too long ago. And just this breakout candle, and we looked to get some follow. I believe that was, what was the 17th? Wasn't that like a Friday? Oh no, it was a Wednesday. Yeah, I remember this one. And then they got the more stuff the next day, like Kim Kardashian type stuff. And then in here we had the Joe Rogan type stuff. And then it just got great follow through in there. That it paused just for a couple, like 4 days, and then just today just launched again. Just such a strong name right now. Let's see what it does tomorrow. Good volume today, so if it's a pause day tomorrow, we'll see. If it pulls back, maybe we can catch a pullback on it. And then Uber Technology. So been having some rough news recently. Rough candle yesterday, like a lot of things, but kind of came back in this range. So just kind of tagging that right now, but you still have that open gap below. So let's definitely continue to monitor that too. Good stuff. Thanks so much, Michael. What's going on? LLNW. Limelight Networks. Nice. Up 16% today. Inside day up. Huge move. Talk about a push to the upside right there. Beautiful, beautiful stuff. Let's see. Great volume. Let's see if I can do a great one. Thanks for bringing that up the other day too. And then Pays. All right. So Pays apparently pays pretty well. So that got a nice move right there. And just a huge momentum move through the 200-day moving average on that one. Wow. That candle right there is impressive. That's like as big as like this range right here. That whole range in like 1 day. Amazing stuff. Great finds. Thanks, Michael. Appreciate it. DA, hey, what's going on? Yeah, my pleasure. I hope you're doing well. Willie, what's going on? Good to see you. Let's take a look. JP Morgan. JP Morgan. Yeah, the banks were just so strong today. Most of them just did really, really well. This one, I think, was just kind of a little bit drifting down. This didn't get as much of a pop as some of the other names. So let's see how that goes into tomorrow. That could be very interesting to see what the banks are up to tomorrow. WFC, same thing. This is kind of the bad boy of the banks right here. So had a good candle day, but that's down after hours. Looks like Morgan Stanley's kind of one of the only ones out. Let's see, we got Bank of America. Had a great day today too. And that's down after hours too. So I guess it was really just like Morgan Stanley that was kind of hanging in there. Yeah, Morgan Stanley's the only one that's kind of hanging. It's kind of odd on that one. So I guess maybe it's. Morgan Stanley's not technically a bank, right? They do have a banking arm, but pretty interesting stuff on that. So good finds on those. Yeah, Spotify just ridiculous. Huge candle today. Let's see if we get some follow through tomorrow. Just trend is your friend until it ends, right? And then Apple, of course, is just ridiculous. Just continuing to just plow its way up right here. Upgrade today. We'll see what it gets tomorrow. And don't forget tomorrow's Friday too. And by the way, since tomorrow's Friday, don't forget, guys, consider trading next week's options, and also just be careful not to get assigned if it's not part of your trading plan. So good stuff. Michael, INO. Oh my goodness. I know. I tell you, some of these cheapo names that become expensive names are just incredible. It did this exact same thing here at a fractal level, essentially back down here, right? Big breakout candle out of nowhere, right? Well, Corona, and a couple pause days right here, and then some great follow through the upside, and then that crazy gap up right there, and then the pullback. And again today, now this is starting to get interesting because Citron came and said this thing's worthless. Their vaccines, they're not going to have a vaccine and all that stuff. Did not care. Right, I think the Citron news came out I don't know, here for a second, and that was it. And then it just got maybe here, it just came out, and that was it. And then it just kept working its way up. So it's up really really nicely after hours again. And then Kramer at the end of the day ended up tweeting out saying oh, these guys should do a stock offering, because if their quote unquote vaccine is good. So I mean. But it's still up after hours, so I would just be careful with this one at this point. Yesterday was, I didn't even think yesterday was really a pause day, but looking back, I guess with this volume, it really was. So amazing stuff when these things go wild like this. So anyway, let's see if it gets any follow through tomorrow. D, according to the lesson yesterday, you're going to get some calls on NVAX and FSLY. Supremely bullish for them. Okay, well, I don't recommend the buying or selling of any security. So obviously the choice is yours. But yeah, I mean, there's definitely some strong action here. Could be a pause day. I'd just be a little bit careful about yesterday's upper shadow. Not a true breakout candle, but could be interesting on that. I mean, it is bullish until proven otherwise. But goodness gracious, just be careful. FSLY, this thing is super strong, right? Dips have tended to be viable on it. So good stuff. And yeah, the IWM was great. But a lot of these banks are pulling back after hours. I think it was stress test news, if I heard it correctly. But IWM is still holding up here after hours as well. So let's see if I can give a move on that one. Banks were really, really good. And then DGAS was nice, good. All right, finally a move on this one, so good. Yeah, huge move off of DGAS right there. Great job on this one. Woohoo! What else? SQ going pretty strong right here. Tricky day today, though. I mean, SQ is tough. Find a little resistance. It's definitely consolidating up here, and SQ does like to consolidate, so just be careful with that one. Big move at the open, then a lot of blah. So just be careful with that. Sometimes it's a little bit tricky, right? It looks like these things could go forever in the morning, but they do pull back. Michael, all right, let's see where we at. So AMD, start positioning calls through July if we dip tomorrow. So AMD, could be an interesting idea, right? So I'm definitely liking the dip that's going on right here. Had a big breakout candle right here, one gap up right there, and so now we're finally pulling back a little bit. Yeah, so let's see if we can hold this. We're right in the trend box right here. Let's see how that holds. It finally did crack the upward trend line, though, so just be careful with that. And public adjuster, what's going on? Yep, and then IWM, again, that's the whole thing with it. It was strong. The banks were really strong today. Just kind of hanging out in this range right now, so, just tag the bottom of those levels, and, let's just be careful, right? It's see if we can get over this geometrical. It's still under the 200 moving average on it, too. So it's kind of the big levels. DA earnings lesson, would you say to buy iron condors after earnings gap or downs? No, I would never buy an iron condor. I've got a whole video on it if you go through my playlist. Why not to do iron condors? So high probability, low risk trade, right? Until you get hit on it, and then you end up any of the successes that you have in iron condors end up going away. I wouldn't even touch it. VZ. Yep, still holding on the cloud right here. Try to break down again. Two lower shadows right there. So let's see if that serves as a potential support. I like how it did tick a little bit lower today and came back in green. So that is good. It's kind of like a key reversal on that one. So Rob, what's going on? Thanks for tuning in. WKHS. A little bit of workhorse action on this one. Yeah, so a little bit pullback on that, right? We talked about it yesterday, so be careful, right? These big upper shadows are a little bit scary. Up a huge volume yesterday, so the only thing I don't like is it didn't close over the highs, right? So this actually could turn into a reversal spinning top on that one. And then SPCE, a little bit rough today, but look at that. It held the bottom of the geometric line today, and then it's I believe it's up after hours. I'm not sure what the news was after hours. They completed some flights. So they're still kind of just doing their thing right here. But yeah, so it's up to about 16. So we're still in the triangle going into tomorrow. But see if it gives a triangle breakout. Could be interesting. Public adjuster, what do you see in the weekly? What do you see as weekly in hotels? MAR. Yeah, so MAR, right? So getting really tight. Really tight here, kind of a tight day on this one. So it's right at the cloud. Let's see how that holds there. Weekly chart, a little bit weak so far. Again, really, guys, these could be really, really rough on this second wave if they start closing things down again, right? Especially internationally. Uh, Hilton, again, same thing, kind of holding on the cloud right there. Let's see if we can get a potential bounce. Win, we got to be really careful with. Had a weak candle, had some nice fall through the downside today. This could be a pause candle on this one, and again, a push down below these lows could start to see another momentum move to the downside. So just be careful with that one. And then TripAdvisor, again, I like it. Same concept right there with the second wave coming in. Right, not a lot as many people booking trips. Right, Disney World, Disneyland closing down, that type of stuff. So a little bit of caution with that one. Jay, what's going on? Thanks for tuning in. Venkata APT. It's a good go-to one, right, for more Corona stuff, face masks, things like that. It gave a nice push out of the triangle right here, and it is trying to work its way up. I like the lower shadow here today to see if it can hold, but it did finish red. So let's see if we can get back over that $20.50, $20.60 level. Jay Golf. Oh, I'm so used to typing cold. Golf. Okay, yeah. So hanging in there, hold on to his 21-day on that one. WGO. Yeah, they had earnings, didn't they? The Winnebago. How did that end up doing off of earnings right there? Inside day. So just kind of hanging in there on Winnebago. So it's better than, I guess, Flushing. MCFT. Mastercraft boat. I like all these recreational ones. So let's see how they go. Venkata FMCI. W. Those are the warrants, right? So these are the warrants on this one. So you look like any other chart, but nice breakout candle on this one too. So that's looking pretty cool. SPCE. Again, same thing in the triangle. Up a little bit after hours on the launch, but we'll see how that goes. And then, VRM. Jay, it's amazing, amazing candle today. Beautiful stuff. Unexpected. Sarab, FSLY, go log. That's up to you. I don't recommend, buying or selling anything. But for me, it's super duper strong, it's super duper bullish, but it's super duper extended. So for me, I wouldn't touch it up here, but it is funny that, it is interesting to see it continue to work its way up. Now, I would consider looking on an intraday basis, to buy some to look for a pullback buy on it. But again, this is not one I would typically trade, right? So this one, the options on it are pretty good, but they're kind of spready on this one. This is just not the ones, although this is starting to become interesting. It may turn into a momentum name. It certainly has been super duper strong. So it's one to keep on the radar. But yeah, I wouldn't recommend buying it or selling it either way. So good stuff. DA, how do you differentiate between a general upward downward channel and a bull bear channel? Yeah, so it's just all about length, right? So usually, right, a flag, right, is going to be something like this length right here. But if it continues, right, basically, I would say the difference between, anywhere 3 to 10 candles, depending on what time frame you're on, right, could be a flag and a and you start getting into 20 candles, something like that, it's more of a channel on that one. But it also depends on the size before it, right? Because FSLY right here, if it does pull back, right, it's got a huge it's got a huge flagpole right there, so it could give a longer move. A lot of times it's relative to the size of the pole, right? And you can still consider it a channel anyway, right? So a channel breakdown and a flag breakdown, right? It would be very similar. But one of the things you got to look at too is where it's breaking out. So good stuff. Trader VR, what's going on? Hope you're doing well. Chegg. So hanging in there today. Just clicked a little bit low here, but it's on the 21. So see how that holds going in tomorrow. And then Nicola, hanging there inside day. It's got some work to do, but see if that pullback becomes viable. DKNG. Again, this is it. This is the line in the sand for DKNG. Line in the sand on that one. And SSRM. A little bit of a hammer there off of the ADMA, so that is interesting. Nice little mining potential on that one. Good stuff. Thanks, Trader. Heather, what's going on? Good evening. Thanks for tuning in. Hope you're doing well. Public Adjuster, VNQ. Let's take a look. Vanguard Real Estate ETF. Hanging in there inside day. Holding on to the 50-day moving average. Let's see if that can break out one way or the other. And then SPG. A little bit of pullback to the 50-day right there. Tough on the real estate stuff, right? Especially if a second wave comes through. They're already getting hammered with the lack of rent payments and stuff like that. Hey, Johnny, good to see you, man. Really appreciate it. mRNA. Okay, so mRNA, had a nice gap up today. It looked like it was coming out of the triangle today, and then they just slammed these ones today, right? Everybody's going into INO. The ones that are actually legitimately working on have some potential on some vaccine production right there got hammered, right? And then INO, right, was just like kind of like a shell kind of fake company, right? It's just launched to the high, so it's pretty funny stuff right there. But it is what it is. So I bounced out the 50-day today, so let's see if that can hold and see if we can get back into that triangle. And then J&J, down 15 cents today, and basically at the bottom of his channel. So here's an example here of EA, right? So this looks like it could be a massive bull flag on this one, but it's a really, really long one. So it could be either one. It could be a bull flag if we get out of here, right? But in the meantime, we are just kind of channeling around too. So kind of a combo. But if this thing keeps going, right? Once this gets longer, really, than the majority of the flagpole, it's totally a channel. So good stuff on that. Michael, VXRT, let's take a look. Whoa, nice one. Fax art, I'm liking it. Huge move on that one. I love it. That looks like a huge option trade on that one. Really, really amazing stuff. Exo Bionics shares, really, really neat. So huge candle on that one. See if that gets any follow to the upside. And then Rad, earnings today. So up 3 points on that one. 26% move on that one. Great candle on that. Let's see if we can see how it handles those highs tomorrow. See if we can get another momentum move to the upside through there. So great stuff on that. Great find. RKKDK, good to see you. I hope you're doing well. Sure, Harmo, what's going on? Hope you're doing well. Good evening. DKNG is going to make an M pattern on the daily chart. Let's take a look. DKNG. Kind of, sort of. It's a sloppy M. But you'll see what goes right there. Again, a breakdown below those levels could bring that M move to the outside. Nice way of looking at that one. I like it. Yeah, my pleasure. Good. Johnny, software still hot. Yep, your AYX. Strong. Yeah, well, inside day on that one, MDB. Hey, another decent movement there, low volume. FSLI, we just looked at, CRWD. And there, upper shadow right, ZS. Same thing inside day on that one, team. Hanging on the geo line on that one, and then now. Yep, hold on to the 21 day. There, you're right. I mean, a lot of these software names are really hard to trade. Even Work, I mean, a couple of these other names are really, and then the spreads don't make it really friendly to trade either. Yeah, so good stuff. Yeah, DA, my pleasure. Yeah, DA, yeah, definitely, yeah. Smash the like button. We always appreciate that, guys. Cherry Bear, yeah, my pleasure. Manoj, what's going on? Good to see you. Hope you're doing well. Thanks for tuning in. UAL. So they did try to buy the dip on this one today, right? And it came back in the range there, so a little bit of a squeeze this morning. We pointed that out this morning on the live stream, right? So that was a great one, right? Gives some nice triangle movement right here, so relative strength for a pop. We saw a lot of these today, so great stuff on that one. Same with the oil sector, and same with the banks today. Just really, really great stuff. So Rob, what's going on? How can we identify the morning open as a bull trap or not? Like yesterday's first 20 minute was a bull trap. I mean, there's a lot of things you can do. Right? I've done a whole series on internals. Right, so that's one of the key things that you want to look at right there is, what's going on, right? Like one of the ones that we like to look at, right, is the vol SPD, right? So yesterday, right, this shows your up volume and your down volume on the vol SPD. So you can see yesterday, right? I mean, we were red right at the open on this one, right, and then we were just like red all day. So it's showing all the volume is going into the downside. Right, so selling pressure, right? So this kind of helps you a little bit, right? If you have a strong trending day to the upside, right? You're green at the open. So just kind of looking at the internals can help and give you clues, of what they're going to do. So that does help a lot. So good, Dr. Wives, what's going on? BIIB. Yeah, Biogen, kind of an interesting one. This one is, it had a really rough gap down right there. Had a couple interesting buy the dip opportunities. So today a little bit of a hammer off of that one, and they bought into it at the end of the day. So let's see if they get some follow through the upside on that one. BDX. Okay, lower shadow off of that one today. So kind of hanging in there, really, really scary area right there. So hopefully they try to buy that one up. Michael INO. The headquarters is 10 minutes from your house. Is it like someone's rundown shack? Which company was that one? Was it CGC? I can't remember the headquarters. When the pot stocks were getting really big, like the headquarters of one of those companies was like like some shack or something like that. It was so funny. But yeah, so it'd be interesting to see what I know looked like. But Vanessa, what's going on? Kroger! Not much of a move today, so basically down 4 cents here and still hanging out in the triangle. I did try to push up a little bit there, but pull back into that triangle range. Just can't break out even after earnings. So BJ's pulling back a little bit. It's at the 80 MA, so let's see if that holds there for you. Sage, a little bit of an inside day there, holding the 80 MA, so let's see how that goes going into tomorrow. VVNT. All right, try to take the inside day up right now, but just kind of struggling a little bit. So, but some volume on that candle today, which is kind of interesting. Pins. Yeah, decent pullback on pins right here. Let's see if that eventually becomes viable on that one. The FMCI. The warrants were looking good today, and so's the stock today too. So nice pop on that one. And Vroom, just ridiculous. Huge move on that one today. Let's see if that gets some follow through on a breakout over yesterday's high if we can catch it. Okta. Great breakout candle on that one today. Love the volume on it. Love how it got out of those geo levels today. So see if that gets any follow through on that one. COCP. COCP, interesting pause day today on that one. See if that gets any follow through. A little bit of cheapo name right there, but yeah, that's a true doji on that one. Threep, what's going on? Good to see you. Thanks for tuning in. Great job today. Harmony Gold, yeah, nice candle on that one too. So keep an eye on the miners, right? They're a little bit tricky, as we know. It's coming right into this geo right here, so just be careful with that. Hobbs, what's going on? Good to see you. LPSN. Yeah, decent breakout candle here today. I like the, I like how it was a nice range breakout here. I like the, nice little scooping cup pattern right here. Great breakout here with an opportunity to work its way up into the gap. Nice find on that one. And then Upwork. I believe Upwork. Yeah. Yeah, nice breakout candle on that one too. So nice little, fry pan bottom on that one. So yeah, so see if that gets any fall through the upside. Good volume. Good finds on those one, Hobbs. Nice. Dr. Wise, yeah, my pleasure. Johnny, just really the tech charts. So I explained the Gartley pattern with a breakdown. Thanks for trying to help. Yeah, my pleasure. Thanks so much, Johnny. Well, great stuff, guys. I really appreciate everybody for tuning in tonight. It's been a fun week. Great discussions on the day trading process. We'll have another one for everybody next week, and we'll see you guys Sunday night. I hope everybody has a wonderful rest of your evening and a great trading day tomorrow, and just a great blessed weekend, and we'll catch you guys then. If you're new here and just joining us on YouTube, be sure to click the subscribe button and the notification button so you can see when we go live. We put out intraday videos during the day to give an update on the market. And also be sure to look at the links in the description. We've got links to our website in there where you can check out our newsletter and our private Twitter and all that good fun stuff too. So I hope everybody has a great rest of your evening. Thanks again for tuning in. Stay healthy out there, and remember your risk first, and stay safe so you can stay in the game. And I'll talk to you guys